I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
What the hell's going on out here?
Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
I was 9 years old. I was doing Star Wars in a comedy club. George Lucas is in the audience, sees me do my Star Wars bit. I didn't call it Star Wars at the time.
What'd you
Space
call it?
Wars. Space Wars.
That's close to Spaceballs.
Way before that. Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars, which is ripped off from Space Wars, which was in my act when I was 9 years old, my first time on stage in a professional comedy club. I was a novelty act.
I never knew any of this, man. So you were doing comedy at 9 years old. You had a bit
9
about
years old.
Star Wars called Space Wars. George Lucas stumbles into probably a Warwick or Cranston shithole and watches the 9-year-old Al Ducharme.
I think it was
and
Avon,
bangs out a
Massachusetts.
screenplay. That story should have been told before episode or volume 247. Holy shit, that's quite a tale. 2 L's, 1 pod. We are the spinoff podcast from the web series The Two Dicks. I'm Al Romas, currently on the Oasis of the Seas. We're docked in Nassau, Bahama, Mama. And that is Al Ducharme. He is in Alaska somewhere. I don't know where. All I know is the Wi-Fi is wonky. We started once. We're restarting. We're going again. Alfred, where are you, man? What's happening? What ship are you on? What's your location? And
Iceberg.
let's hear it.
Right ahead. We're in Hubbard Bay, and we are about 1 mile from the glacier. And there's a bunch of people up on the deck right now going, ooh, oh, and taking pictures and doing video on their phones.
It's ice.
Ooh, oh.
Open your freezer. It's the same view.
It's quite beautiful, but I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
and unless we get close, and I'm looking at, if we're super close, that's when I'll do it again. But I think we're about a mile out. If we get in like a half mile, quarter mile, it's spectacular. But this far out, I'm like.
But seriously, you can take your ice maker and then a little shavings on top and open your freezer. You get that cold air in your face. You look at a bunch of ice. There's a snow cap on the ice. It's the same thing. And you save yourself 20 grand. So
you got to start a new podcast just with tips.
I hate Alaska. That's the pod. Just stay the fuck out of Alaska.com. I wish I could. No, this is how can I start a
frontier, my ass.
That's right. Hey, do you do the talk to text or do you text? Like when you're texting, say with me or Bernie or a friend, do you use the thumbs finger or do you do the talk to text? What's your go-to on that?
I don't do the talk to text. That's the quick answer. I've tried it in the past. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, but you got to get into the rhythm of it just like anything else. And I can't hold my phone and do the thumbs. So I'm always misspelling shit. And I always hit send before I check it. And the whole thing about talks to tech was there was a bunch of misspellings.
That's it.
And so I'm like, well, why not do it then? Because I'm already fucking it up.
Yeah, I find the same. You talk to text. I don't do it either. Kelly does it all the time. And she's always talking to text. And then she has to stop, though, and go back and correct all the misspellings and the punctuation. Well, why not just use your thumbs? But I asked because we were talking the other day and I said to her, okay, I'm heading up for a stick with the boys. I'll talk to you later. And then she texted back. And then I sat down with the boys and I read and said, okay, enjoy that dick, honey.
Hello, pizza delivery.
So I had both. I enjoyed the stick and the dick, and but that's talk to text. I don't care for it. I don't get it.
I know people that do it while they're driving. They do it while they're driving. So
I text with my fingers when I drive. That's the way that's old school.
How many people have you killed? Or
I haven't killed anybody, but a couple cocktails and a little talk and a little texting action, and Daddy's got places to go. I can't.
Are you the one that texts or looks at your phone at the red light and then it turns green and people are like, what the fuck?
Guilty.
And then they hit the horn, and you go, "Fuck you!
That's guilty. Yeah.
This is
But if
my
I'm behind
planet
that-
too."
If I'm behind that person, I do hit the horn. I hit the horn the minute the
You're
microsecond it
like a
turns
taxi
green.
driver.
I do. It's
The
not
New
good.
York City taxi drivers, when I lived there and I had a car, just before it turned green, they go, "Huh," and I'd look up like this, and then now I'm delayed a half a beat to go, and then they start leaning on it. The people behind them, I guess you're supposed to jump it by a half a beat, keep things moving.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember as a kid, I remember the Flintstones, and Fred was behind one. The car with the feet, and then the light turned green, and the guy was sitting there, just sitting there looking at it, and Fred goes, "Any particular shade of green you're waiting for?" And I thought that was hysterical, and I've used that line throughout my life.
I don't remember. I've seen a lot of Flintstones, in syndication. You saw it when it was prime time.
Yeah, I
And 'cause of
started.
the
It
age-
used to air at
the
8
age
p.m.
difference.
on Wednesday nights, in glorious black and white on our old. What was the old TV? I don't even know what the.
We had one TV in the neighborhood.
Ray?
Everybody gathered over someone's house
Yes, yeah. We watched Ed Sullivan, and then the Flintstones, and then
on the 7-inch picture tube with the.
it was a piece of
full-size
furniture.
wooden-
Yeah,
It was
it was
wooden
a piece of
cabinets.
furniture, and it had a stereo connected to it. Remember those things?
We had one
Yeah,
in our
well,
basement.
I was 3 or 4 years old, and I broke my toe. The only time, knock on wood, I've had a broken bone. I was a kid. My dad had all his albums, and I was 3 or 4 learning to walk. So I picked up a pile of his albums, and I walked across the living room, and I guess I fell or dropped them, and they landed on the old big toe. Broke that.
And you dropped
shit
all his
out of that.
albums.
And I broke his albums, which he was really pissed because
And he tried to
fuck
smother
my
you.
toe. Fuck my toe. You broke Bob Newhart, the button-down mind of Bob Newhart.
Wow.
That's
That's a
unacceptable,
classic.
sir. Yeah. That was number
How much-
one in the country. Above music. Like you had Andy Williams or, some music sucked then. I mean, there were no bands. But you would have like Andy Williams and, Mel Torme. But Bob Newhart was the number one album in the country from a month or two or whatever.
And that's when The Raper came out. Bill Cosby and all those other guys followed up because that was a new thing. That was the new technology. Someone doing stand-up comedy on that album, inviting young
Right.
ladies back to the dressing room, giving them some Jello pop pudding.
Yes, he was a hypocrite, the bastard. Such a hypocrite. That was the worst part, the hypocrisy.
Oh, and one of my
Yeah.
heroes. It was very sad, very sad.
Where
so
are
when
you?
I visit him in prison, he's out.
He's out, man. He's a
He's out.
free man. I thought he was going to tour. All these things never happen. Have you noticed things that everyone gets up in arms about never happen? Never happens. He's not going on. He's not 100 years old. He's not going to tour. This is.
Well, he said he
what I
was,
mean?
and then they
And he's not
canceled him
touring.
for the second or third time. They canceled him, but yeah.
Well, speaking of that weird shit, what do you think of this whole Blind Side thing? The movie and the
Wow.
people and the family and the guy. What's going on with this? Do you
Corporate-
believe her? You believe him?
Well, I don't know. It's corporate too, right? Franchising all those places. They were doing. How many of those places did they own
No.
prior to
What are you talking about?
coming up with this? The couple that not really adopted. What's his face? Michael. What's his face? What's his name?
Yeah. I think it's Or.
Yeah, they didn't legally adopt him, but the movie and the
Right.
book portrayed that they adopted him.
Right. What are you talking about?
Wasn't official.
Franchises.
They owned like Taco Bells or something.
Right, but that doesn't have anything to do with whether they adopted them or not.
Well, I was
The-
trying
the
to get
question-
to it. Go ahead.
No, I was asking what you think of this whole thing because he's saying he was never adopted, and they're saying, well, you knew what we were doing. So I was thrown when you started going franchises. It's like,
Well,
what?
because the family, each of two of their kids, biological kids, and the parents all made like $12.5 million each from
No,
the story and the movie.
that doesn't seem to be the case.
Okay, this is the information I have, so please update me, but let me finish.
Okay.
From what I understand, and you're a little bit more involved because you're obsessed with shit like this. I heard that
I'm obsessed.
he got like a minimum amount of money, and they used the fact that he was, they were saying he was adopted. And that's why the book was a big hit, became a movie. Sandy Bullock won an Academy Award. I mean, it was a big, yeah.
You know her? That
Actually, no, she's in the shower right now.
oh.
No, I'm doing the podcast, sweetie.
Wow. Okay. That should have been the opening of the pod. I don't know how you bury that one. I got Sandra Bullock in my shower here in Alaska. He just keeps that undercover. Okay. Well,
was she too skinny for you in Gravity?
I didn't see Gravity. No, I don't see those.
You didn't react. I smacked you across the face. You didn't react. Want to try it again?
Looking at the reflection. If you're on Patreon, check it out. There's mirror. So I looked at the reflection, and when you hit the arm, it looks like someone else is in that room, and they also moved. So I was thrown by
Sandy's in the bathroom.
I thought that might be Sandy. I didn't know what was going on for a second. I was like, hey, I see a movement in there.
If you're just tuning in now, tune out, because Sandra Bullock is in my shower right now, and she's just use the bathrobe, sweetie.
Speaking of which, if you're on Patreon, Alfred just said tune in. This is the hardcover. Oh. This is 2 volumes. Most people get the soft paperback.
That's a collector's item right there.
It is. This is volume 1. I have Tune In by Mark Lewis. Check it out. My sister sent me that. I was telling her I was going to buy it on Amazon because I love the paperback. And I came home from a trip, and there was a box, and she sent it to me, and super nice. So I love it.
That. You did fantastic. That to me.
I've done. I sent you. What would I send you?
No, you pull the old. Hey, I'm thinking about getting this thing on Amazon, and you say it to certain people, and then they go, "Oh, let me get this for him," and we send it. I sent you
really
a mug warmer. I sent you a mug warmer.
You did. Yes, it's a good, and it's a handy item. That thing.
Kelly
seems like an item. Well, Kelly's not a fan, but it. I don't know where it is right now, to be honest. That and my coffee maker now are in storage somewhere. It is funny how you meet a girl. They love all your shit, and then you move in the beginning. Things start to vanish a little bit. Hey, babe, where's that coffee warmer? Oh, I don't know. Do we need that? I don't know where it is.
Probably my wife has accused me of being a pack rat multiple times throughout our marriage.
Yeah,
pack rat.
I can see that. Yeah, I don't even know, but you seem like a guy who would have a hard time throwing things away.
Yes. That's why we're at 247 on this podcast.
I knew it. I saw that thing floating over the whole plate. I go, he's going to take a fucking swing at this one. It's nicely done.
It's going. Nice. It's going. It's going.
I don't believe what I just saw. I would have been fucking disappointed. I would have thrown my headphones at the mirror here and walked away if you didn't take a smack at that one. That was perfect. Well done.
Yeah, that was like batting practice. You just
that was a lob. That was a lob. Hey, you know who I worked with this week? Besides Greg Vaccarella, who was on our pod. He's actually Greg Vac. He shortened it. Mario and Daniel Solario, the 2 funny guys from Vegas. Were on our ship. The 2 brothers, Daniel and Mario, great guys.
Very funny.
Great act.
Yeah.
One of those it's so much fun to watch because they're real pros. They just come out and like they're going to kill. They don't accept not killing. They just don't they'll go in the crowd. They'll whatever it takes, we're fucking gonna kill. And I had not seen them in 23 years. 23 years, man. Imagine that. And I look fantastic. They've aged badly. They don't look good. But still good guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, boys. I think they're listening. So
actually, didn't Mario lose some weight?
Yeah. Well, he had his knee. He had a knee replacement, and they took. So this cruise was their first time performing in about 3 months. He had the knee, and he does a lot of not physical so much, but he does do some physical stuff on stage.
Does silly walking and.
He does that whole thing. I'm cool, and he sticks his leg out, and But anyway, those are great guys. People should know them. They do know them. You talk about comedy and his.
Okay, hold up. Hold up. Hold up 1 sec. Let this work. All right, take it again from they're great guys.
Yeah, they're great guys. They've done it all, so it's fun to see acts like that. Those were the acts when I started that were out here, all these killers. And that was, one of the first acts I met out here. So it was fun to see them again.
And they're fun to hang out with. They smoke cigars, and they like to have a little bit of vino after the shows, and they get like a little cheese board or a charcuterie.
Yeah.
And olives and whatnot. And they know everybody on the ships, and they just go in like to the wine bar, fix it up for us. Thank you. And they tip them out big time. They're super nice and generous.
100%. You named them perfect. That's exactly hanging with them. Yep. But they know everyone. The hotel director knows that comes over. Oh, boys.
They're a favorite. They're obviously easy to work with, and they bring it. They bring it with that solid act after. Yeah,
I mean, that's timeless. What you want. That's what you want in an act. You book them. You go, they're just great guys, no problems, and they're going to kill. Well, they'll work forever. I mean, and they have 4 production shows that they've put together, sold to Royal, and 2 Impact shows with groups called Impact that do the Bolo and all that stuff. But so they have 6 other acts, or 2 acts, 4 shows happening.
It's a big business,
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're even out here doing it, it's great. They don't really need it, I don't think. It seems like they're doing okay.
Yes, I was talking to Daniel about it. Well, although during the pandemic lockdown, they definitely needed to come back because all of their shows stopped. But I think that they were highly successful already, so they probably had a nice buffer. But, I hope they went for some government free loans because they employed a lot of people.
Yeah.
I hope they took advantage of that.
They probably did. They were showing me videos of Argentina. Have you been to Argentina? You must have been there.
I was just there a few months ago. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
I remember that commercial in New York when Evita was on Broadway. Do you remember that? They played that commercial.
Patti LuPone or Madonna?
Patti LuPone, the original.
Because Madonna did the movie. That's right. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. But they had that in the commercial, Patti LuPone, and they would have Mandy Patinkin was the guy singing. She was singing to, and he was like an unknown. It was just this guy in a Broadway play, and then he became Mandy Patinkin. But that commercial aired goddamn evening at 7:30, 8 o'clock in New York. And why are we talking about Evita? Why'd you bring her up?
You said, have you ever been to Argentina? And
yes, you have.
Because of the boys, because Mario and Daniel.
They were showing me videos of basically food and how little it costs. And my mouth was dropping. I mean, it's like they have a steak dinner with bottles of wine and every appetizer in the world, a table of 9. So he goes, count it up, add it up. And I'm adding it in my head. I go, $1,100 in the U.S. That's $1,100. And he goes, 200. 200. I go, oh my God, what are we doing?
We're in the wrong country, man.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, why did, I kind of was saying, what's the rub? I mean, they're saying it's Buenos Aires and it's like being in France and Italy and the food is but what's the rub? Why you don't live there, right? You live in Vegas. Why? You know what I mean? Well, there's other problems. The government's corrupt and,
Yeah.
There's things happen.
I think there's some other marriages too in the past, but what do I know?
Oh, I don't know any of that.
You know what? I'm gonna have to edit that out because I'm not 100% sure on that.
Wow, I like that piece of gossip. What's going on there? Who else? Who was married?
Because I think I created it without checking my facts or whatever.
Oh, well, I'm interested to hear what you know, but I never heard anything about that. But yeah, they're just good guys and fun to see. They worked. This was a 9-day cruise, the original, and they worked it. They worked the first night and the second night, so they were off through the rest of the cruise. into the next cruise, and then went home today from Nassau.
Wow.
So they were on 13 days or 12, 13 days, and did 4 shows or 5 shows. So yeah. Whereas
wow.
Greg
Their
and I,
the paychecks are crazy.
meanwhile, Greg and I have been here 13 days and have done 26 shows, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've crazy schedule, insane.
Yeah, but
Most shows I've ever done.
Vac's only done about half that because the other half he did your act. Now I got to edit that out. Damn it.
He's a fucking listener, man. I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I don't want to hear you talk about creating work and more editing. Fuck.
He's like a cellular tower. He just repeats the signal. Should we call him cell tower as code?
Hey, you know what time it is?
Oh, it's good. That's a good edit. Is it time for
question?
Wait, wow. All right,
yeah,
let's
man.
Hear it. Let's hear it.
We put it up there on the Instagram. You know, hit us with a question. We'll say it, who you are, and we'll answer your question. And I hope this guy's being real, because this could be, you know, but I think I'm going to take it as a real question, and we'll take it away. Otherwise, it's insulting. This is Quincy 95. That sounds like a New England-y type. Quincy 95 wants to know.
Let me interrupt. It's probably Quincy, because in Massachusetts they pronounce all the names slightly different because they're the ugly stepchild of England. Like Peabody is called Peabody, and Worcester is called Worcester. But go ahead, Quincy.
Oh, okay, Quincy. Worcester is, what is it? What did you say? Worcester, Mass, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what was the other version of it? What else can you call Worcester?
Worcester. Sorry,
Worcester. People say that. I never heard. Okay.
No one. If you're in Massachusetts, if you say it any differently than Worcester, then they kill you.
Oh, seems fair. We met a couple the other night, young couple. What guy was from France? No, he was French. She was from Germany.
Baby.
Young couple. She speaks like, 4 languages. I mean, they super nice after the show, just compliments. But I mean, like 4 or 5 languages. She's like 25 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do we? And I go, what age? And she go, oh, very young, like 5, 6. You start there, and it's amazing. Like, well, we don't do anything here. We don't bother. We don't barely fucking know English. Most Americans.
Well, I know that that's quite common there, but I will say this: what I've learned by going over to Europe, they can carry a conversation in most of those languages, and certainly, speak well. But their native tongue is what they really know. The other ones, they kind of like,
I think you sound like an ugly American. She was fluent in languages. Just because you're not.
Well, first of all, she's German.
Throw shade
he's French,
on her.
So apparently she's occupied him.
I'm staying out of this whole. That's another edit for you. Here we go. Questions. Write them on the Instagram story. We answer them. Here it is. Quincy 95. What's the secret to staying fit on the road? Now, is he joking and saying we look disgusting, or is he complimenting us for staying fit while we're on the road? We don't know what that means, but I think he meant it the real way. He's asking.
I do
too. You two handsome devils.
And I believe you and I are doing a majority of our living on cruise ships, and we have a buffet at our disposal. So a lot of people that go on vacation, this is what they say, average 4 to 5 pounds of weight gain on a 7-day cruise. I think that you and I have learned to keep that in check. We do have a health club just a few decks above. And when I'm in port, I try to get my 3 to 6 miles of just walking or hiking
Mhm.
in. So, and watching what I'm eating, I'm trying not to like overeat like I did when I was younger because the metabolism has changed. So for
Mhm.
me, it's just portion control. I hate to say it, and getting exercise every day in some form.
That's kind of, yeah. I mean, I walk every day. I do the same thing. Buffet, maybe a salad, little something, go light, and hit the gym on occasion. I don't do the gym as much as I did because I just feel like I know I saw a lot of disgusting people. Just not. I feel like I'm going to get sick up there. You know what I mean? Because I've been lucky. I haven't had the COVID again in a while, but I feel like the gym is where I'm going to
Yeah,
get it. So if I can do
there's a
some
lot of
push-ups
there's
and
a lot
shit
of.
in my, yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot, yeah. And they
But here's
don't
the
wipe
thing:
down,
there
and
was a lot of that prior to the pandemic. It's just that
yeah,
we're more aware of it now.
yeah. And the thing is, there's a lot of COVID after a cruise. I mean, people do tests after a cruise, and there is COVID. There's a lot of it. It's still there. It's going to be there forever. It's just whatever. You same way you got the flu after being around thousands of people. But between the buffet and a gym and open areas to walk, you know, it's not that hard. Whereas on the road in your car, driving
It's
to a
tougher.
gig, and usually if you're doing that, you don't really have much money, so you're kind of looking at it like, all right, I got, you know, spend $8 or $7 at McDonald's, and that'll
Or-
hold me till the club, and then the
Right.
club will have burger and fries. So you're really eating shit, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
beer and booze. I mean,
Mhm.
it would be hard. I would do it now at this age. I'd be healthier, but the road in the car and all that's really made for someone younger because
Yes.
you got to have metabolism. You got to
Mhm.
sustain the amount of awake and partying and eating badly. Whereas if I was doing that now, well, I'd jump off a bridge, to be honest, if I was doing that now. But yeah, if I was in a car eating McDonald's,
I don't mind
going
doing
to
it a couple of
fucking
times a
gig.
year, but I used to do it for a living. That was my thing. I
Right.
was doing
That's
the
what I
college
mean.
circuits, and
Yeah.
the school will feed you when you get there, and it's like, but the only thing open was their snack bar.
Right.
Sometimes the schools would take you out to dinner after, so now you're eating at
Late.
10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then you're going back to your hotel.
And there's always and a lot of drinking. There's always beer, and the kids want to drink with you. And if you don't drink with them, then their report is like, "Yeah, he was drink with them." They're like, "Oh, he's fun. We love him. Bring him back." So I always feel like I got to go out with them and I can eat some wings, drink some beer, then go to bed, then wake up and sit in the car for 6 hours. I mean, obviously, it's not a surprise. It's like when people say something like, "How do you lose weight?" Well, it's just, I mean, there's no secret. It's like, how do you do stand up? You got to go on stage. How do you lose weight? You got to eat less. I mean, things are not secretive. They're not that hard in life,
Now,
I think.
I think that you've been,
maybe I'm wrong.
and you've also, you and I enjoy a cocktail, but when you're on ships, you don't drink. Occasionally you will, but you don't drink. So that calorie intake isn't there anymore. So you're maintaining your physique.
I don't miss it though. Do you? I mean, if you don't drink for days on end, do you miss it physically or mentally? Go, you know what? I'd love a drink.
No, I not in that way. For me, it's like, oh, I'm having pasta. I'd like to have a glass of red wine. And I go, screw it, and I'll skip it. But when I'm in Alaska, for some reason, that stupid amber ale, when I go out and walk 3 to 6 miles, I come back.
Overrated.
I'll have a draft beer, and that's my reward. So, but I've already worked it off, so I don't.
Right. And no,
I would say a few years ago, pre-pandemic, I felt like I was like 2 drinks a day or something. Just I don't know.
But the beer after a hike, I mean, that's great too. It doesn't count. You're not hurting you in any way, and it tastes delicious, and it's great. So I love a beer like after doing something like that. Sure, But
yesterday I was in Skagway.
That amber ale, by the way, is overrated. I just want to get that out there.
Is that the Alaskan?
The Alaskan amber ale is, yes, it's everything there. Okay. Everything there is overrated.
So I had lunch with Trisha Kelly, the singer, and your buddy Richie Minervini. We had we went
Podcast
to
guest.
the Skagway Brewing Company, and we had lunch. And Richie and I both had an Alaska Amber Ale, and it was quite delightful.
Nice. Does Trisha Kelly live in Tampa? Why do I think that?
Yes, she does. She matter of
Where's
fact,
she-
she mentioned that. No,
Oh.
she lives in Clearwater.
That's where I live. I've never met her.
I know. Yes, that's why your name came up.
Oh. Well, my name was thrown around at that lunch.
Oh, well,
Tossed around,
I'll tell you the
boy.
good. I'll tell you the good things. I'm not going to mention the other stuff. Really? He was totally naked? Really? Wow, that was so weird. I thought he just did that to me.
Richie and I were drunk. It was a long time ago, and I got a little frisky. So that's
Richie was on this podcast, by the way, when it was called
Yes.
the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast.
Wasn't he in his car? It was classic Richie. He was like in his car holding a phone, like with it was just it's like Richie could just put it down and hold it and make it steady. I worked with Eddie Murphy in 1982.
Isn't that coming up soon on our archives? Isn't that going to in the
Oh, yeah, I would think the classic would be because they're starting to pop up now, more of the interview, a little longer pods.
Jimmy Pardo is locked and loaded. Jimmy Schubert,
Pardo.
the two Jimmys back to back. I think Mark Norman's coming up too.
Oh, very good.
Because we just had Bill Burr a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, did you see Norman's new special on Netflix?
I didn't. I should.
Yeah. I saw it. It was good, but you know what I mean. I don't want to, because it's weird if you go on and watch a comic and then you comment. You don't want to sound, jealous or some shit.
It's not as good as his first one.
Right.
Well, first of all, the first one took fucking 12, 15 years to do, so it's solid. And then he's go, okay, now you're famous. You got 12 to 18 months to come up with that new hour.
Well, that YouTube one has like 12 million views. And then Netflix after that said, we'll give you a half hour. So he had to put a half hour together. Then he did the half hour. Then they go, give us an hour one. So that hour that's on Netflix, that's within a year of work. And it's good. I mean, he's funny, but it's just that style. It's the same. It's set up, analogy, and then little joke for everyone.
That's his style. That's his style.
I know, but for an hour, it gets fucking.
Well, that's why he has all those viral videos, because he just puts up those 30 to 60-second clips of his already recorded, tried and true stuff, and it takes off. Boom, boom. Yeah. But the same thing, as much as I love Stephen Wright, watching Stephen Wright for 15, 20 minutes kill is great. Watching him for an hour, you're like, I enjoyed it, but I could see I could see the audience tapering off.
Yeah. Well, for me, I don't know who I could watch for an hour, stand up and really sit through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think even whether it's Burr or any of the big top.
An hour's a lot.
I'll turn it off and come back to it another time.
Gaffigan was the smartest one. He just kept it to those half-hour specials, right? Didn't he do all half-hour specials?
I thought they were hours, so I don't.
Maybe I'm wrong.
But I thought they were hours.
He just did the halves. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the half hour is plenty, and that's great.
25 minutes.
And then when you look, because sometimes I'm a little nutty about shit, I'll just look at the time, and they're not really. Most of them are not doing the third and fourth one, especially. They're not an hour, even with the intro and the credits. The thing goes to 51 minutes, so they're doing about
50. Yeah, 40, I got my new hour. It's 51 minutes.
These are more like they're in the 45s. It's like the old school.
They might do a sketch. Remember that? The cheat. You do the sketch. Yeah.
Do a sketch.
Hey, you're on. What? I'm on.
Hey, Rodney. Hey.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's just like.
Well, Norman's new one. It's kind of throwback to the old HBO special, because he does. It's in Chicago, and he does a little bit of the opening. Then he runs down the street into the theater, through the doors.
That is old school.
And then runs on stage. And I think Carlin, remember jamming in New York? I think that was where he did that too. And then gets into the Beacon. He's running down the street and walks into the Beacon and performs. But it has that look.
Meanwhile, that's all shot
HBO.
in advance, and then they're backstage days later. And then you step out, they go, woo, wow, that was close. Hit some traffic.
Remember the Seinfeld one? That was horrible, where he was like playing like a James Bond. No, he was on like a helicopter, got lowered down into the water. And it's like, this is
whatever happened to him?
Well, that special's terrible. He can go out on the road as Jerry Seinfeld, but Jesus, he's a guy. I mean, I some comics do it. I think he really peaked, and now it's just a lot of yelling. He's very like it's like, why are you angry? You're a billionaire and you're angry. Like, chill out, man.
Did he cross the billionaire mark in the last?
He was listed as the highest paid, but last year or whatever the last time I saw it, it was like 920 million. So I would assume he's crossed the line.
No, because he's got to pay 55% in tax because he's in that.
I think he's
bracket.
crossed the. I think he's.
No, he can make that money, and you can be worth that on paper, but liquid.
Right.
Net worth is
we don't know.
Paper. You know,
it could be liquid. We don't know.
What?
We have no idea. We have no idea. We're sitting here.
I remember when he dropped 40 mil on that Hamptons home right on the water, you know, acres and a mansion and all that. I'm like, what is he, a fucking crazy? That's 40 mil. Who would pay that much? I'm like,
what's it go for?
100 or at least double or 60.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Billy Joel selling his estate on Long Island. He's moving to Florida. And they showed a picture of his estate. It looks like he owns like Southampton.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a peninsula.
Private beach.
With 2 or 3 mansions on it. That's the house he said. Like, Billy Joel's selling his home.
Come on.
Home. It's not a home.
It's a compound.
Yeah, completely. And he had
Louis C.K. bought Babe Ruth's hunting retreat on Shelter Island. Did you know that?
No.
First,
I didn't know the Babe had a hunting retreat.
Yeah. It's 1930s, whatever. It was several acres. It was a preserve or whatnot. But the original house was on it. And Louis was trying to buy it. And then they annexed the preserve. I guess he was involved in that too. And just bought a few acres with the house and bought it for a pittance. And now that's where he's hiding in Shelter Island because he's been canceled.
Oh, I'd love to be canceled like Louis C.K.
Oh, my
the
goodness.
Garden,
the best cancel,
the Forum,
the best cancel anybody ever had.
Yeah, and then you got some, dumb, angry, women. He shouldn't be performing any. Shut up. Go sell a ticket. You can't. He can. That's all. Shut up. Speaking of Babe Ruth, what was his real name? Don't do the
crime if you can't do the time.
Oh, yeah. Who's that? Baretta. Baretta, right? Was that the Baretta theme song?
Was it Baretta or was it Shaft?
No, Shaft.
Hey, if you know the answer,
Shaft.
mention it it was Shaft.
Yeah, Shaft was the song Shaft, so they said Shaft. But I think Baretta was, and was that who's the guy who sang that?
I don't know. I was an infant. I was an infant.
I know, Al, you're 12. It was Jose Feliciano. I could be wrong on all this. I think though it's Jose Feliciano singing the Baretta theme song, and I might be way off on.
I thought it was an instrumental.
An instrument. Don't do the crime if there's words right there.
No, that's Shaft.
Don't do the crime. No, it's not Shaft. That's Baretta. Don't do the crime if you can't.
Are we going to wager a stick on this?
I'll gladly wager a stick. I'll wager a Monte Cristo from Cuba.
No, not the crazy ones.
1958.
$10, $12 stick.
Sure.
Okay.
The bet is, so we need.
I say the lyrics are from Shaft.
Don't do the crime if you can't. What is it? Don't do the crime if you can't.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
that you'd say that's the lyrics to Shaft. Okay. And I say no, it's the lyrics to Baretta TV show.
And you're saying what's his name?
Jose Feliciano. Yes. He did
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, that was it.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime, or don't do the crime.
Yeah, we don't have the lyrics right.
Time.
If you can't do the don't do the crime. If you can't
do the time,
do the time. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, it's not Shaft, buddy. You're
okay.
I'll do a I'll take give me a Guardian of the Farm. I'll do one of those from you. Maduro. It's about $11. So shoot that off in the mail if you would. And
I haven't had one,
I'll
so if
enjoy
I win, I want you to do the same.
Well, you're not going to win. I just told you it's Baretta. You're not going to win. I already know.
You didn't react. You're going the wrong way. Ready?
I reacted. Oh, wait. Take two.
Oh, my God. That's horrible. I have to edit that.
The earbud even came. Look at it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. You're bleeding.
The earbuds are out.
You're bleeding. Now get a tampon.
I just bought some headphones from Amazon for the pod. These things, they annoy the hell out of me. So I got some headphones. So hopefully they'll these cans will fit into my microphone. And
I have the wireless.
Well, you're a very fancy boy. I'm old school. I want to have some cans on my head. I want to have some cans on my head, Al. Come on, swing away. It's right. It's right.
I like the set of cans you have on your head. Motorboat.
There you go. All right. Enjoy that dick, honey. Okay.
Are we done?
I think we're done. I feel good about it.
Don't do the crime.
Is it good for you?
If you can't do the time.
I'm getting a stick. I want a stick. I'm excited.
You're getting a dick.
Excited. I'm going to enjoy that dick, honey. Oh my God.
So long, man. Have a good trip.
You. Iceberg, dead ahead. Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks, which is named after our web series.
This is the 2 Als, 1 Pod podcast.
Thanks for tuning in.
What? Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/forwardthe2dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.